Does the mind's overthinking and spinning stories drive you crazy to the point that it catches you up in it, then you're not available in the fullness of your own potential, feeling fearful, afraid, uncertain of what even to do next? Hi, I'm Linzy Elizabeth, and I have experienced this, and then I started to gain freedom from it. I started to call the mind on its game and understand what was happening inside of me as I became intimate within, freeing up my mind for the fullness of my own potential, for the correctness that is aligned for me of the yeses, the nos, so that I'm able to live aligned, in peace, and from the presence of my truth instead of reacting, pushing away, or going into that which made me fearful. I have also taught this to my clients, and this process of becoming intimate within, depending on your specific human design, because if you know anything about human design, you can have a defined head or an undefined head, and both of those are going to have different qualities with your thoughts and how your mind operates. However, the fact still is, if we are caught up in fear, regardless of how our mind works, those thoughts are going to be from a fearful place. And so in this process of becoming intimate within, we're starting to see what is happening in the looping mind, in the stories, in the things that just continue to ruminate, keeping us stuck in a specific iteration, keeping us stuck from being in full vision of just being able to see life with eyes wide open, experiencing life on your own personal edge, interfacing with reality instead of contracted, operating from this fearful place, uncertain, doubtful, and likely even shoving down those feelings of uncertainty and doubt so that you can continue to propagate from the fearful ways of which you're not necessarily understanding that that's what's happening. And so it's time to just wake up. It's time to awaken to the truth of what is really available. We have quantum physics now at our fingertips. We have the rising level of consciousness, and we no longer have to be trapped in the looping of our mind and in the overthinking. And then trying to figure it out from the level of the mind to then just keep getting the same results or different results that seem to make a different promise, but then how does it seem that we're having the same experience within? So all of this, including the mind, our body and mind, we first have energetics that are in play. And what I mean by that is you as awareness, you as consciousness. That is first what is true. It seems as if we are this body and our mind, and especially when we're wrapped up in the spinning of the mind, it seems as if I am my mind, because we're so close in on those thoughts, we're so close in on those false identities from which the mind is operating that we don't have enough spaciousness within to not react, to be able to call the mind on its game and start to see what is actually happening. So as we align with truth and start to unpack a little bit of truth, it can start to call into question the things that you're believing that are operative, that you're thinking are true, and then it's like, wait, let's pause on this. Let's put some question marks there and see what's actually true and what's actually available. So the looping, spinning mind, these thoughts are coming from some source of identity within inside of us. Now, this might seem elusive, but as I've started to understand this and then also know the energetics and then get to shift the energetics, you get to actually shift your experience. You get to shift your internal experience, and then you get to shift your external experience because your experience actually starts within the internal. Start to see that we have these false identities that are in play from early childhood. Whether you've done childhood work or not, whether you've went into your early childhood wounds, if you're still searching, you haven't cleared them. Just know that. So if this is new to you, just allow the openness and see what is here for you. And if you have done this work, but you're still searching, notice that you're still searching and nothing has actually worked yet. That is where I was at. From counselors to therapists to so many different coaches across many different spectrums, like I bet on myself like my life depended on it post-divorce because I knew that it did. I did so many different things, different programs, different people, places, coaches. I just threw myself into life. And as I started to do that, I realized there's not answers in this one either. Oh, there's not actual answers in this one either. Oh, I paid a lot of money for this one and there's still no answers. This one was just a book and it seems like but then that's a dead end too. Once I started to sniff out truth per se and started to unravel what is actually happening in this interface of my mind, my spirit, my soul, this life, relationships, love, money, finances, all of it, because there's something sticky that is happening within and I'm stuck in these looping stories, not able to free myself until I started to be able to. Until I started to understand the availability of truth and love in my true nature and how the truth of my true nature actually is transformative of my mind, of my body, of my spirit, of my inner world, of my outer world, of my finances, of my ... relationships. Because the truth of our true nature is love, is aligned power, is goodness. And I don't mean power like a brute force. I mean power like from here forward, that is how life is created. And now I don't have to strategize and be in power, exert power per se out here, because power is first frequency. And it doesn't seem like it. You can watch the news, you can look on Instagram, you can whatever your specific hierarchy of power is in your specific life. Everybody first is frequency. The frequency of your true nature, of the energetics that you have in play, is what is true and what is there. But if it's covered up by the frequency of distortion and lies, now the mind is spinning and it's operating from those false identities, which have the frequency of distortion and lies. It has a lens through which we see reality, and that includes our thoughts. That includes the looping of our mind in the stories, and the stories that seem so freaking real. It seems so real, as if that is how it is. But when we use what is happening in our lives and the triggers that show up, and we're able to trace back what is actually happening inside of us, in our inner world, within the energetics, and you shift those energetics from the frequency of fear into the frequency of truth, love, your true nature, authenticity, and you're no longer in the shame, you're no longer in the concern, the fear, the what if, the how can I make this happen. Instead, you're in the frequency of the true nature, of the power of the infinite that is coming through you, coursing through you, that raw, infinite, expansive energy that has not been tainted by conditioning. It's literally energy that has not yet been conditioned. So that looping story that's in your mind, that is a product of energy that has been conditioned. So it just keeps looping around the track, and it arrives also in a polarity. So it can be crazy making, because it can seem like it's working and then you get the rug pulled out from underneath you. It can seem like you've got what you want, but then you're still not happy. It can seem like you got that relationship, that money, that opportunity, and then the experience is lackluster. Start to see that this life is full of false promises until you align with truth. And when you align with truth, the joke's not on you anymore. The mind no longer gets to joke you. Instead, you're living with eyes wide open, clear, available, full, for the full potentiality of life. I have a powerful tool to help with this, Intimacy Within Checklist, to help you start to see the interfaces of how this might be playing out in your specific life. Because my own self included, I'm only able to share this because I have undone a vast array of so many of these in my internal world. When something has seemed so real, that story has been so sticky, and then how do I undo that? How do I even unspin myself out of this same result? I don't want this same result with this guy, and then this guy, and then this guy, and then this guy, oh, and then this guy, or with this opportunity of finances, and this opportunity of a job, and this opportunity of whatever it is, investment. It's like, oh, but I'm experiencing the same thing. I'm experiencing the same thing. I'm not available for that. I'm available for clearing that up, for truth and love. And the intimacy within checklist helps start to unpack and help you see what that interface is in your own life, the sticky spots. Because truth and love is what is already true of your true nature. But when it's wrapped up in the stories and in the mind and in the fear, and it feels so freaking believable, we don't even realize we're believing it. We don't even realize the texture of our own lives that is wrapped in fear, shame, concern, no longer available for the clarity of what's really true. So comment below, intimacy within checklist. I'll send it your way. And until next time, big love.